Hi. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing budgets and how to make a budget. All right, so what is a budget? Well, a budget is an estimate of your income and expenses within a set period of time. It also tells you how you're using your resources to carry out the tasks that you have planned, like your financial goals. A budget is also the organization plan for the upcoming year for a set period of time, of course. It also measures the performance and determine the means to achieve your financial goal. So, a budget can help you with so many different things financially. Let's get into it. What is your organizational goal? The organizational goal is basically the goal that provide a philosophy for your company. You know, what the company is expected to follow in its operations. What's your target? What are you trying to get to? What is the organization trying to get to? I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm kind of like on the terrace. Okay, so how do you get started on your budget? Well, you need to gather information. And who would you gather those information from? Well, you would gather information from management, your sales and marketing people. You would do research and development, and you will also gather information from possibly your accountant. There are different methods and ways to prepare your budget. There's the forecasting method. That's where, you set a forecast. Um, if you have a lot of people on your team, you can basically have them send in a budget anonymously so no one knows what team prepared the budget or how it was done. It was just sent in anonymously and you would work from there. But if you're by yourself, like many small business, you would basically, how you would do forecasting is you would just make a good estimate for what you think is going to happen, what you've forecast based on information that you've gotten from previous time using whatever. So let's say like sales, if your forecast for sales is you're going to be selling 20 basket of tomatoes because last year you sell 15. So you think because more people are starting to show up at the market, then you're going to be selling more tomatoes. Just an example of forecasting. Then then they have sophisticated computer programs that can also help you with forecasting. Then you could use the economic method. The economic method is like forecasting regression data. So basically, it would be data from the economy. How is the economy doing? Great example. If you were in the trucking business, right? Based on the different things that started happening in the economy, the trucking business had to take a shift in how they do business, such as the way they do business. So, Amazon, a big contender in the market, have decided to start shipping their own goods to their warehouse. So now let's say if I'm a truck driver, I have my own trucks and I normally pick up for Amazon, Walmart, Stop and Shop, or any of those people. I would normally get the pickups. But all these places have decided to pick up their own goods based on what's happening in the economy, based on the embargoes, based on so many different things. So, if you have a good idea of what's happening in the economy, then you can definitely have a forecasting based on the economic data. Now, putting a budget together can be really tedious. So, today we're going to talk about the different pieces of the budget. Like, let's say you start with your organizational goals. And from your organizational goal, you think about your long term strategies. Like, what strategies are you going to be using long term, right? And what are you anticipating to happen throughout the time frame or the time period that you're planning this budget? Then you're going to be thinking about your master budget. And from your master budget, you're also continuously anticipating what's going on in the budget. After all of that, your period, you have to evaluate the performance of your actual budget. So you have the actual events that happen, and then you have the budget that you prepared. So you're going to compare the two to see how you fared out. Now, you have to remember that your individual goal might be a little bit different from your business goals. Okay? So once you have those things clear, then you can take a look at your budget. So, your budget compared to your actual, did it go well for you? If it didn't go well, you have to remember that you have to have realistic expectations of what your budget is going to be doing and what is actually happening. So, if the budget didn't go as planned, you have to remember that did you expect it to happen like that? Did your individual belief and expectations had a part to do in the budget? These things are very important to think about. If you set a budget goal for $1 million, do you believe that you can actually accomplish this budget goal? Or 200,000, whatever it is, did you actually believe that you can get it done? All right. Now, what is the process of putting together a budget? All right. So, putting together a budget is like once the events and the processes are going, once you have your organizational goal, once you made the decision of this is the number I am working with, then you can make changes. Yes, you can make changes as the events are unfolding. So you're never stuck with one particular thing or one particular budget. So let's do a budget together. Let's say for the year, I budget to get $100,000 for the whole year. I need to figure out how many clients do I have to have in order to make $100,000. Now, I could use a couple methods. I could say, well, based on past information, I am going to use $100,000 because let's say the year before I made 50,000 gross. I had $50,000 in sales. But based on past information, I'm going to increase my budget because I have additional information that the market is changing, my services is needed, so I'm going to put it at 100,000. So let's say in retrospect, I'm charging, I don't know, $1,000 for each services. Now, in order for me to make 100,000, I need to make a certain amount of clients, right? So I need to actually have 100 sales in order for me to make $100,000 for the year. So I have to make sure that I am going to make 100 sales, selling at $1,000 to get my $100,000. So I have to keep checking my matrix, checking my numbers to make sure that I am getting these numbers. Now, once I have my sales number together for my budget, I also need to work on my expenses. What will it cost me to get 100 100 sales? So, maybe I have to do more marketing to get 100 sales. How much is marketing going to cost me, right? I'm going to need software to make my sales, to complete my sales. I'm going to need paper. I'm going to need to travel. I'm going to need to do a whole bunch of things that will enable me to make that sale. So now I have to record all those expenses. So maybe after I made $1,000 in one sale, how much would it cost me to make that $1,000? So let's say it cost me $100 in marketing, $200 for the software, $400 to travel back and forth to the client, $300 for office supplies, and so on and so forth. At this point, I have spent approximately $600. So my profit on this sale was $400. Now, if things were different and let's say my software cost $700, in this situation, I would not have made any money on this sale. So there are two things I could do. I can either increase my sales price or find cheaper ways to make sure that I can complete the sale and still make a profit. Okay? So that is how you do your budget. I had my goal, which is the organizational goal. I had my operations, which is all my expenses. In order for me to carry out that goal and to achieve that goal, I had to spend some money. So, in order for me to make those things happen, those are the things that had to be done. I hope that was helpful to you. See you soon, and I hope you are doing good. You know what? I should talk about how my mother taught me how to budget. Now, people don't use this anymore, but she had a red purse. Her purse was a red purse with a zip. And in the zip, there were different pockets. In that zip, I think there was one, two, three different pocket stage. Back in those days, I was probably about 11 years old, and she would come home with her check Friday evenings, and she would say, Nadia, come here. And she would make me sort the money out. She would put a certain amount for rent, a certain amount for groceries, and a certain amount for the other bills. All the things that she needed to take care of were separated in these different sections of her purse. Now, for the items that weren't in the section, she would put them in envelopes and write like the name on it. So if it was a utilities bill, she would like put it in the envelope and stack it in her purse. So each bill had a place to go. And it was all sorted from the money that she made. And Even if there was not enough money, she would always put away a couple dollars. Maybe it was like $5, and we would go to McDonald's maybe once a month. We would go to McDonald's. That was the highlight of our week. We would go and get fries and sometimes a cheeseburger. But that was the fun part of our week, or maybe we would get to go skating or something. But definitely, we were able to pay all the important bills and still have something to enjoy life, so life wasn't so dull. But that's what my mom did. What did your mom do? And from those times, we don't have purses anymore. And most people don't even get paid in cash anymore. So, how do you work on your budget? What do you do now? Do you have six different accounts? One for the money's coming in, one for the electric bill, one for the investments, one for how many accounts do you have? How are you separating it? I don't remember my mom giving an actual number, but I know there are ways now that you can put your budgets together. Like you can use the rule of 10% after you put away your rent or mortgage. Um, Supposedly you're supposed to be living off of 50% of your income, which I think is really hard to do these days, but it can be possible if you start managing your funds the way you need to so that you can become financially wealthy, financially free. And of course, you have to put an envelope for your taxes. How could we forget about that? That is actually one of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is not putting away funds for their taxes. They put away money for everything else except for their taxes. Don't forget to put something away for your taxes. So now that you're in mid-year, it's time for you to set something aside so that you are feeling happy, joyful, and knowing where your funds is, right? So you have everything sorted out and you're ready to conquer your financial management, your financial funds, and you're ready to go. Now, the next time we'll talk about W 2 workers and how you can maximize your taxes, maximize your savings, and pay less in taxes. Okay, that was it for me for today. I hope that was truly helpful to you, and I'll see you next time.